Hey, we are live. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday night. Hope you've had a good week. I will admit I agonized briefly over dozens of possible DOS games to play tonight, and on a whim, I decided if I'm only going to stream for an hour and a half, what's something I can show off completely? And much as I love Star Control 2, and it is a terrific. You have to play it. It's one of those seminal adventure games for PC. The original Star Control is much more digestible in that kind of time slice. So tonight we are going to be playing the original Star Control for IBM DOS PC. It is, I guess it'll make sense when we're playing it. The simplest way to explain it is it's very thematic B-movie sci-fi with gameplay it's almost as old as video games themselves. It's kind of like a one-on-one melee asteroids game, and the gameplay is very similar to Space War, one of the original video games for the PDP-1. So it's kind of an upscaled version of that with a lot of fun B-movie sci-fi tropes to go with it. And we'll get into some of the different game modes here. I'm just going to get through our copy protection here. Great. So this is Star Control. We have practice where you can have any two ships go one-on-one. Melee is a full set of hierarchy. The Ur-Quan Hierarchy are kind of the bad guys in the story, and the Alliance of Free Stars, who are the less bad guys. A full game has strategic play, and we'll do this last. This kind of adds a little bit, almost a board game element to it. First, we're going to define our players. We'll have the computer take the role of the hierarchy this go around. We'll play as the Alliance. They also have Cyborg and Cytron. These are kind of fun options. Cyborg allows the computer to do the fighting for you, but you can do the strategic play when you're playing the full game. And Cytron's the opposite. The Cytron will decide all the strategic choices for you and just let you focus on the combat. All right, so we'll start with, let's just do a quick melee. So first we have the Ur-Quan Hierarchy. They're the ships up on the top right. Our computer opponent select random. We don't know what we're going to get. And then we've got R7 to choose from. There's the Chinjesu. This is kind of your capital ship. The Yeehaw has twin guns and a shield. The Murner Herm can switch. This will be easier to explain as we kind of go ship by ship, but they all have different functions and features, so there's a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors strategy to what you play with and how. I'll start with the weakest ship in our arsenal, the Shofixty. You can see I'm flying this little ship here on the bottom. As you get closer, the camera does this kind of nice... Whoa. They are the Anderson. So my hierarchy opponent right now are artificial humans who were created by Earthlings and then had to flee Earth and are now fighting with Earth's enemies. Ow. I got hit by one of their acid bubbles there, so I took some damage. A better player would probably be able to pick this Anderson apart slowly, but my aim is not great. I'll probably just try to pepper a couple shots in, and then I'll use... You'll notice, if you look at the Shofixty's portrait there on the bottom right, he's got a little self-destruct button. I'm going to turn it red by hitting once more. There. Now one more tap on my special weapon button, and I'm going to go up in a blaze of glory. So I don't know that I'll be able to kill the Anderson. Ooh. But I can certainly wound him for the next... Whoa. The controls for this are really simple. Every ship has one primary and one secondary weapon. Each one is mapped to one key on the keyboard or to the joystick. And then you have turn left, turn right, and thrust. So it's very much kind of space physics, right? You have propulsion and drift. And then when you're fighting, you'll notice these little asteroids kind of drifting around in space, and sometimes you'll have planets as well with their own gravity wells. And you kind of, there we go. Here's to show you an example. I'm gonna whip around this planet, give you a little speed boost. That's a fun thing you can kind of use for strategic purposes. It's actually really useful for me as the show Fixty, because that can be a good way to get close to the ship I intend to. Oh, hey. Uh-oh. All right, one more bubble and I'm gonski, so... So you see my sacrifice. I did not fully destroy the ship, but they're down to one crew left. While I've got to pause here, crew on the left side of each ship is your life. Fuel is not really used for propulsion. Fuel is your weapon recharge. All right, so I'll switch to the Earthlings next. There we go. Exciting. The Earthlings primary... Uh-oh, no! I'm going to get chewed alive. Easy come, easy go. So the Earthlings' primary weapon is that nuclear missile. Their secondary, which I never got to use, is like a point defense laser. As you can see, the UNGA just kind of has that static cone. All right, so I need something that's fast enough to stay away from the UNGA. Let's see how long I can ride the EHOT Terminator. So the secondary for the EHOT is a shield, and the primary is this really nice. Now you'll notice that they don't expend fuel with their primary like an antimatter thing. So I kind of have to just whip around them here, and some of the shots will get around the side of the cone. It's just a patience play. Slowly. This is good. I'll get a little more comfortable with the EHOT as I'm doing this anyway. So this is melee. So super melee is just ship-on-ship combat. I guess super melee is technically the sequel is Star Control 2. But melee is just a chance to kind of practice your combat skills or go straight to the fighting, whereas the full game, which we'll do next, as the strategic board game elements. But this is, I think, a good chance to kind of walk through all the different ships and their features. I don't know if we'll see it from the computer, because I think the computer we've got on standard difficulty. But the secondary weapon for the UNGA is actually it is what expends their fuel. It's a sharp reverse. So if they need to, they can just quickly reverse. That's actually useful for trying to kind of turn around and then surprise and like come up behind your opponent. The world that you're fighting in is endlessly looping, right? So if I speed up, and I'm much faster than this UNGA, so I can leave them in the dust. I'm much faster, but you can see if I keep going this way, it will eventually loop around, and now I'm coming back the other way. Love these little early era, not PC speaker, but not far from it. Ad-lib sound or something. Okay, just a couple more hit points of health and we'll be done with this UNGA. Whoa, I felt some planetary whip there. That's the last thing I want to do, is bring this UNGA anywhere near the planet where he's got a chance to tag me. Because this is, there we go. This is probably the second strongest ship in the... Oh. Alright, so the Mycon. So I have to use my shields very pointedly here. The Mycon, they're, I guess, that's the way to describe them. It's like a mushroom people. They release spores into planets, which cause the planets to eventually overheat and then explode and send out more spores. So they're pretty gnarly. Their main attack is this huge glowing ball. Their secondary is, I believe, just a life recharge. Which, oh, got tagged up. I didn't have enough fuel to do my shield. Okay. Next, we've got the Ilrath. They have a flamethrower, and their secondary ability is they can cloak. Oh, let's get away from that planet. Again, I think I'm a little faster than the Ilrath, so we'll try to just kind of bait them into... There we go. Beautiful. All right, so now next is the Vux. The Vux's primary attack, as you saw, is that big, gnarly green laser. Their secondary is they release these little limpets. And the limpets will drift towards a ship, and if they collide with it, they'll slow it down. All right, so 2 left. Oh, the Ur-Quan. All right, so this is the big evil daddy of the hierarchy. You learn more about the Ur-Quan in the second game, but the kind of the sort of the galactic struggle is between the Ur-Quan, who want to subjugate every race in the galaxy, and the Alliance of Free Stars, who very much don't want to be subjugated. Oh, and here's the Spathy. The adorable Spathy. I'm going to actually just see if he can kill me. I want to show off a couple more Alliance ships before we switch modes. The Spathy are famous for their cowardice. In the second game, you meet Captain Fuifo hanging out in Pluto. Hey, Frank, how's it going? Good to see you. Fuifo is kind of famously cowardly. He'll talk about how the Spathy were charged with guarding Earth after Earth, spoiler, loses the first conflict with the Ur-Quan and becomes they get the slave shield wrapped around Earth, and they just become kind of a subjugated species. And then they decide, well, we don't need all of those ships to... Oh, Star Control 2 is a blast. Star Control 2 might be one of the... Here, let me just go ahead and let the Spathy finish me off. Or I'll let the planet finish me off. There you go. Planet steal damage. We can show that off. Star Control 2 is one of those absolute must-plays. What can I do about the Spathy? We'll try the Cyrene. The Cyrene are kind of your classic B-movie Captain Kirk, Green Alien. Their secondary ability is they can get close to a ship and sing. And you saw the little green dot that came out of the Spathy? That's Spathy crew that I'm stealing. So you're sort of like, it's a siren song, and I can swipe their crew. So that's why the Siren starts with an incomplete crew contingent, because you can, and the closer you get, nope, mine. So that this, I think that crew member met an untimely end asteroid. Yeah, so the multiplayer for this is a blast. Star Control 2 adds a bunch of additional races. In fact, I don't think it might lose one. I don't think it actually loses any of the originals. It might just add. But it is famously like one of the truly great PC titles. And it is also, like you said, one of the good 3DO games. In fact, Star Control 2, when it was taken open source as the Ur-Quan Masters, has, I think, the 3DO's music and sound. So you get like the voiceover work and a lot of the really good music that was added to that version. And the original creators, Paul and Fred, they are working on, I believe it's called Free Stars, and that is their sort of personal follow-up to this series. They were Toys for Bob, who did a lot of things like Skylanders and Spyro and some other stuff after this. So they had a very busy career. Congratulations to the Alliance. They walloped the hierarchy in Melee. Forces remaining. So we still had our Mernurmherm, Erilu, Cyrene, and Chain-Yesu ships when we were done. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and jump to the full game, and if I can remember it. So a lone Cyrene must prevent Androsith deployments, a war of production, 2 full fleets face off, the Ur-Quan offensive begins. Yeah, let's go ahead and just do Total War. So it is hereby designated that war fleets be composed of a mixture of ships from each of the available races. Due to shortages in raw materials, star bases are not available. Concentrate on making good use of your colonies and fortifications, and your knowledge ship purchase tactical advantages. Okay. So we have this kind of rotating star field. Each team gets a set of ships. I'll start with my Mernurmherm. We're going to move up. All right, I have 2 moves left this turn. Let's actually... Oh, I did not mean to do that. Well, let's colonize. All right, so they're going to... Oh, they're just marching ahead with their Ur-Quan Dreadnought. So I better get my Yeehaw Terminator. Let's fortify. So if he's coming after me... Oh, Alliance colony established. Awesome. All right, so we've got a Dreadnought in the area. Can I get to him? Yes, I can. Okay, so I'm going to send my Mernurmherm after battle ensues. Okay, so when 2 ships occupy the same space, you get a battle. So life world between Master 3 and Irma Hearn. All right, so I didn't get to show off the Mernurmherm in melee earlier, but it is an extremely slow ship that has this nice laser and very limited fuel, but at full fuel, you can switch modes and become this extremely fast, albeit slowly turning ship that has... I gotta kind of do drive-bys here, but it has homing missiles. All right, so now for the sake of... Oh, it couldn't turn around. I was gonna say, I don't feel like peppering this thing for an hour, but the Ur-Quan Dreadnought wins. So we'll let them kind of advance on us a bit. Oh, they took out my colony. Jerks. All right, so who do I have to go after them? Let's have our capital ship go after theirs. And in the meantime, I will start to move other forces up. All right, so Life World. All right. So that what I released is the Chinyesu's. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm close. Go get them, boys. So those will drain the fuel. So they just keep bumping him, and they'll keep draining his fuel. And then my main attack is this sort of crystal that I can release the attack button to shatter. Uh-oh. Go get him. That's right. You stay busy worrying about him. Alright, so I can release it and kind of pepper him. So the Chinyesu doesn't have sort of the raw destructive power that the Ur-Quan ship does, but the fuel pips there make it a pretty... it's a pain in the butt to play against the Chinyesu. Oh no. Ow. The choice of like instruments for bounced off a planet. All right, cool. So the Dreadnought is gone. Precursor control jets discovered. Boo. All right, so you see the little J on that Unga. That means they're now faster. They got a speed upgrade. Okay, so I'll move them. Thrusters. Oh, cool. We got something too. All right, I need to see if... Do we have a good counter for the Unga? I guess we kind of do if I remember how to fly an Arielu correctly. Alright, so... Oh, they're going to fight our Shofixti with the Unga. I do not like our Shofixti's odds. Maybe this is one where I sacrifice the Shofixti and they... Let's go to red self-destruct. Now, the good news is their added thrusters won't do anything here. The Shofixti is markedly faster. However, with its incredibly puny arsenal. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to do anything to the Unga. Yeah, this is not happening. So, let's see if I can weasel my way. Nah, his turning is too fast. Alright. Both down. What the show fixed he does best. Just sacrifice itself to take out another ship. Okay, so it's our turn. Let's go ahead and advance with our... Oh, hold on. Colonize again. And we'll have you fortify. We'll just build some more structures while we're working here. We'll let the... we'll let the hierarchy come to us. Okay, we got... oh, this is normally not too bad. Oh, wow. I'm a much faster Yeehaw. That's a luxury. Okay. And since he can't limp it, because, again, I'm still playing on beginner difficulty here, I should be able to kind of... There we go. Beautiful. Alright, feeling pretty good. I feel like their remaining ships are... Just advance our capital ship up and see if we can... Wow. My Yeehaw is getting a lot of work tonight. Alright, so Mangalore, the Ilrath. Those lovely spiders that are flying them. Oh no! I did not. Planet. No, please, no planet. The spiders there, they worship two dark gods like Dogar and Kazan or something, and that's sort of... It's a fun plot point in the second game where you learn that the different races that are supporting the Ur-Quan don't necessarily always do it wholeheartedly, but some of them do. Like, some of them are eager to go on these campaigns to kind of subjugate the galaxy, while others either get forced to do it or tricked into doing it. The Spathi, I believe, their backstory is they want to be a slave species. They get very excited when they find out, when the Ur-Quan conquer you, that you have two options. You can either get locked in your own planet and sort of stashed there as, like, you know, wrapped in a shield so you can never leave your planet. You're pre-atomic tech. You're safe, but you can never be a threat to the Ur-Quan. And that sounds like paradise to the Spathi. So they're super excited and they want to sign up for that deal. But then I think there's something where, like, they get confused and accidentally pick the wrong option, and so they end up being a battle thrall for the Ur-Quan. It's like their greatest nightmare. Mm-hmm. Okay. Whoa. Hi, planet. It's always fun in those close quarters because you don't have any mini-map or radar, so those things can sneak up on you quick. A planet can sneak up on you quick. Just normal sentences. Beautiful. Alright, so I will say you make short work of the computer on beginner difficulty because they just don't use their secondary weapons, and that kind of... It does trivialize a lot of the combat. My colony! No! Alright, so one gone, one back. I want to see if I can get... There we go, cool. Get the Arilu into a fight. Just because we haven't seen them. Alright. So the Arilu are cool in that they're sort of the little green men, the Greys, the aliens that showed up at Area 51. And they are not subject to the normal rules of physics that all the other ships are. They turn on a dime. They're a little tricky to maneuver at first. Their secondary ability is you just randomly teleport to some other location in the battle scene. And their primary, this is where it gets tricky, their primary weapon is a ridiculously close range laser, which means I have to kind of work around my enemy. Oh, I'm already down to 1 hit, and do that. Now it does aim for you automatically, which is nice, so you just have to focus on staying close. Which is not always easy. So there's some ships the Airlu do well against. The Andersynth, a better player should be able to win that matchup. I am not a better player. Alright, so another Andersynth versus Cyrene fight. So here I can just call the Andersynth out. And the nice thing is, even if I don't get the Anderson crew, their own weapons usually take out those crew. So, ow! If I don't run into them anyway. Okay, and so now they're down to 1 hit. You can't summon the captain out of the ship. Okay, so they're down to, looks like, just a Spathy. And this is the one thing with the star map. It can be very difficult to figure out which ships are, or which stars are. Fortify. We'll let them come to us. That's Fwif. Hello, Fwif. Alright, so we got a 2-on-1. I'm just gonna let actually, there we go. We want to show off the Earthlings because they never really got a chance to, so let's leech their crew, and then once we've helped ourselves to some Spathy crew members, we'll just bump into a planet or something to give the Earthlings a chance to fight. There we go. Okay, so let's find us a planet if the Spathy lets us. There it is, I saw it. So the Spathy's secondary weapon, again, I really should turn the computer on. Hard difficulty, so we can start to see the hierarchies, secondary attacks, is a rear-firing missile, which is appropriate for our extremely cowardly friends. Boop. There we go. And so then you jump right in with the Earthling because he was also in the same space. The Earthling's secondary ability is these little lasers. And you saw that the first thing it did is it shot the enemy fire out of the sky. And then the second thing is it'll zap enemies if they're there. And so then you get a breakdown of how many fortifications you had. You can build in different main game modes. You can see War, first encounter. Different modes also let you build factories, which as you have income, you can produce additional ships. So you can have games can actually run for a long time in this mode. Okay, I don't have a game mode. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna just briefly set 2 very good computers on each other for a minute and let them do a super melee and see what happens. It can be fun to watch a computer who has very precise strategies for ship versus ship. So we can see the Ur-Quans launch those little ships. Those will home in on you and just pepper away with actually Airlu kind of style lasers. So you can see they're kind of already dinged half of his life away. This is actually this is a really bad matchup for the Airlu to be against Ur-Quan, but they are making the most of it. Again, I love watching the high-end computer is really good in the first Star Control. Look at his little legs. Watch the Airlu when he's moving. The animations are oh, there he goes. The animations are really cool for each of the different crew members too. Oh, he took over half his life out. All right, so we get capital ship on capital ship. I don't love this matchup. Like, the one thing for Melee is Shinjesu versus Ur-Quan Dreadnought is kind of a bit of like a plodding, slower fight, which for the two main ships in like the fleets is a little disappointing. Yeah. Bum. I was about to say this is done and the Ur-Quan bit it, but he took a large chunk of the Shinjesu out in the process, so. And now he's done. So now we should get to see the Bucks' secondary here. The Limpets. Ooh, maybe not. Earthling. The Earthling is probably just mobile enough to turn this into keep away. So you can see that the homing nukes are pretty strong. And that he's just going to try to coast out of range. And there you go. It's an X-Vux. And this is kind of what typically will happen is you'll see in a melee fight like this, it's a lot of kind of back and forth with the rock, paper, scissors. If you're wondering where the Eelrath is, he's cloaked, which means the Earthling's missiles cannot home. They're just dummy fire now. Now, the Eelrath has to uncloak when they start attacking, but they can leave this on indefinitely. And the only real clue you have to their position is the camera zoom. Getting like Wing Commander vibes. Like, they can cloak. Also, Tarragon. It's a cute name for a spider. I'll take a brief second here. So this is one of those fights where the Earthling can arguably win. It's just because a lot of these boil down to the ship with the better flight mechanics in Melee is usually the better off. It's just whether they make a mistake in the process or not, right? Like if you make a mistake and get close to a ship like an Umga or an Eelrath, and they just kind of cook you instantly. Oh, there's a hit. Whereas in the second game, Star Control 2, I think one of the things that really makes it so good is you can fly your precursor ship. You can collect, I think you can take up to 8. Ooh, another hit. You can take up to 8 additional ships with you that you can buy based on who you've managed to get to rejoin you in the Alliance. And so there's not just the rock, paper, scissors kind of optimum. Ooh, there we go. The Eelrath got their prey. Like sub-op. Ooh. Oh no. Oh lord. I sure hope we get a stop to that soon. Okay. Thank you, Eelrath. That was brutal. What I was saying is the wow. I'm not here for the glitching audio. Sorry about that, everybody. So this is looking like a hierarchy victory the closer we get here. We're down to just the Cyrene and the... Yeah. And then you'll notice the Cyrene will try to pepper those plasma balls. You can shoot them to weaken them, and the weaker they are, the less damage they do if they do hit you. But this is another one of those... Yeah. Very bad matchup for the Alliance. And let's see if this plucky little Shofixty can do anything. But when your self-destruct ship is your last ship, not a good sign. And gone. So now we'll get to see the hierarchy's victory screen. You'll notice instead of everybody there, it's just the Ur-Quan showing off. And their forces remaining are... We got a Mycon, Spathy, an Anderson, and an Unga. Alright. I'm going to quickly switch scenes here and hang out with you for just a second while I switch what we've got pulled up. Should just take a minute. Okay. All right. So let's do key jamming. Set my keys here. Okay, return to main menu. Quit to DOS. And just quickly jump in here. I'm going to show off a little bit of Star Control too, but I really want to jump in here because what they added and what I love with the Ur-Quan Masters is all of the neat little details about the different races and what makes them unique, what makes their ships fun to play as. So this is talking about the history of the first game, the Alliance of Free Stars versus the Ur-Quan Hierarchy. And the Ur-Quan were winning. And so you play as human explorers who left during the battle between the Ur-Quan Hierarchy and the Alliance of Free Stars, and you discover some precursor technology. So these are races that existed before the time of the who vanished 1,000 centuries ago. But then the Ur-Quan fleet broke through the Alliance's defensive line and isolating you 100 light years away from Earth. And you were stuck there. 20 years have passed. The survivors have colonized the world, so you had nothing to do. You were stuck on the planet where you discovered the precursor techs. You just kind of set up a colony and continued to research. And discovered, drumroll, a factory for building starships. So you get, it's a really fun, clever hook. You get one rudimentary ship that can be upgraded, basic ship. But it has to be enough because you must capture the vessel and it's up to you to save the galaxy. To travel a great distance, you must push through hyperspace. Find out what has happened over these many years. Tell Earth of our plight. Earth has its own plights. And if the war with the Ur-Quan still rages. So Star Control 2 takes a fun... Oh. This... There we go. So we'll start a new game. And I'll just give you a quick kind of preview of what Star Control 2 is. So Star Control 2 is... Let's navigate. So you have a series of star systems that you navigate with your precursor ship and its crew. You explore different planets. So in this case, we'll fly this third blue one here in the Sol system. If I could aim. Oh, and a ship comes to us. Heed this recorded message. This drone vessel speaks with the voice and authority of the Ur-Quan. You are trespassing within Ur-Quan space. Earth may not be approached for any reason, nor will hostilities against our orbital platform be tolerated. And since we are not a standard hierarchy ship, we are independent. And something to note about the Ur-Quan, this is not permissible, only subservience shall be tolerated. There's a big plot point in Star Control 2 about the Ur-Quan and sort of the way that they've set up their hierarchy and what's allowed and what's not allowed. And there's even disagreement amongst the two different factions of Ur-Quan about that. That's something you can kind of play/exploit throughout the game. So here is Earth, sadly trapped in a slave shield. Here is I can't aim the starship. The starbase, rather, orbiting. So here's the humans manning that starbase. Commander Hayes. Hyperwave broadcast extremely weak. Our energy cores are exhausted. Scanners, deep radar are non-functional. Are we the scheduled hierarchy resupply ship? No. And so this is another thing the game has, is you go to different parts of the galaxy and there's a lot of dialogue that you can have with different races. And that can affect who you get to join your side, and solves a lot of the almost adventure game-like quests that you kind of have to do over the course. We are the starship unnamed. Sure. Never mind. We won't last longer. Here's our situation. Our oath of fealty to the Ur-Quan means we have to maintain the starbase, but we have no vessels, and we can't talk to Earth. So we need the Ur-Quan supply vessels, which there's a hierarchy base on the surface of the moon, but we can't contact them. They haven't gotten anything in almost 8 years. What we don't recycle, we can synthesize, but we need radioactive. So that's another thing. Radioactive elements, we can fabricate the cores. Sure. That's our chat log. Thanks. I'll make sure to mention this when I talk to their masters. Okay. So a big part of the game is, if I go to our manifest, so you have different cargo, like common resources, noble gases, radioactive elements, and they're all worth a certain amount of money, and you can load up your ship's cargo with items that you collect off of planets, and then let's go ahead and navigate. And then that's how you can upgrade your precursor ship, as well as buy crew to resupply your docked ships. The second big part of the game, which is, if you think of things like Mass Effect, scanning planets and then landing on them with your little lunar lander. So we can scan, this is the moon, things like temperature, atmosphere, weather, tectonics will affect whether there's a lot of fire, earthquake, lightning, hazards for your lander, because you do have to send crew on your lander to get down there. So we can do a mineral scan. That's going to pop all these little things up. One energy scan, we'll go check that out, and there is some biology on them. So we'll dispatch. So you can see, this is kind of funny. I wish, this is maybe my one beef with Star Control 2. We have this lovely picture of the planet taking up 2/3 of the screen, and all the actual action is happening. Oh, hi, little rover. Oh, I took off and I didn't mean to do that. So we'll dispatch that spend. That does cost me some fuel to do that. So let's see. It's... Where's my... Oh, spacebar is not my... Okay, it's only 0.3 fuel. What is my... shoot. Oh, it's enter, okay. Okay, so I need to... Alright, so they don't drop anything. Report from surface. We've discovered an alien base. It was abandoned years ago, but great care has been taken to make it appear active. So whoever left made it look like they didn't leave. Random vehicles bulldozing moondust in piles, and a hyperwave locked in transmit mode endlessly playing the same alien recording. Ensign Rigby believes it is some sort of alert or mayday. The base is filled with useful materials and equipment. We'll scavenge it and bring it aboard. Cool. The other thing we can do is dispatch one more time. And just to show the mechanic, see that little dot there? We're going to run over that, and it says calcium 10. You want to, although these are common and not terribly valuable resources, so you may not always want to pick them up. One of the things you need to do in the game is you need to pick up resources because you have to sell them to get money for fuel resupplies, crew resupplies, and upgrades to your precursor ship. Alright, that'll do. So we'll exit menu, and we'll also take a quick peek at the star map here. This is kind of the overarching... it's a huge, huge galaxy, and one of the fun things about it is you can play Star Control 2 a dozen times, really, exploring all of these places. Because you are on the clock, the Ur-Quan Hierarchy is actually locked in a civil war amongst itself. There's two Ur-Quan factions, the Korra and the Sarazad, who are fighting each other. But as that fight goes on, and depending how you influence it one way or the other, different aliens caught in the crossfire will be completely eradicated. Others will make good or bad decisions that may cause them to get wiped from the star map. And as you get further in the game, you'll get little circles that actually appear on screen over different regions of the galaxy, kind of representing, like, this is Ilrath space, this is Ur-Quan space, this is Spathi space, and so forth. You can set coordinates for different galaxies, so like Alpha Centauri, not too far from Earth. We can set coordinates there and hit space. You'll go on autopilot. And you would take off and head that way. Now what you would technically want to do next, and I'll just show this off before I switch to melee mode, is you would head over here to, and this is, I love this because it's a sign of the times, Pluto! It's still a planet in Star Control 2, and in our hearts. So as we land here, here we go. We'll scan it. There's a single mineral and a single energy. So let's go land there and get that mineral. Not the most precise landing, but 5 so crystals. And alright, so here's a Spathi ship just kind of chilling on the surface. Oh! 8 of our crew members just got zapped. We've come under fire from an alien vessel we found hiding on the surface of Pluto. Our stunner cannot penetrate the ship's hull armor. They killed Kowalski, Fritz, Chin, O'Donnell, Luigi, and all 3 of the Lieberman triplets. We are initiating emergency launch procedures. And this conversation is everything you need to know about Star Control 2. It is patently absurd in all the best ways. So he's immediately giving us the coordinates to his homeworld, assumes we're going to torture him, and he's going to give us the ultra-secret cipher to get through their encryption methods. Huffy Muffy Guffy. Sorry! I was so startled when it approached my vessel in a threatening manner. My automated defense systems fired on it when it got too close. Hope nobody got hurt. So, this is where you can kind of play around with different options. We're going to be threatening, but... Of course. Captain Fuifo of the Star Runner. They have tracked our entry, which you are no doubt here to conquer. We'd be greatly appreciative if you would just go away and forget we ever existed. Right, so they're already saying, like, hey, we are subservient to the Ur-Quan. We were sent here to watch the Earthlings. We understand that sometimes these tragic misunderstandings happen. We grieve, but are not bitter. Whew. We might still, depending on what we select. What are you doing here on Pluto? Dominated by a loose confederation known as the Alliance of Free Stars. The natives and the alien parts who did not want to be enslaved. They made a valiant effort against the superior Ur-Quan forces. It even looked like they might miraculously defeat the Armada. Until they didn't. So what are you doing here on Pluto? Okay. So when we got subjugated, we were getting the standard options. Join the hierarchy as combat thralls, keep some autonomy, including the right to travel through space, or become a fallow species, return to pre-atomic savagery on the surface of your homeworld, encased beneath a force shield. We chose the force shield and were imprisoned on Earth, but the Ur-Quan didn't trust them to obey the restrictions, so some hierarchy combat starships from the Ilrath and Spathi fleets had to serve as the so-called Earth Guard and stay on the moon. Tell me what you're doing on Pluto. Originally, we were stationed on Earth's moon, which made the Spathi a bit uneasy because we were more worried about the sneaky Earthlings. Although the Ilrath kept telling us that was impossible, since the Earthlings had no ships or no weapons. That made us feel a little better, but when the Ilrath left, we got fearful and decided to make a strategic redeployment to Mars. Smart. But maybe it would be prudent to relocate to Jupiter's moon, Ganymede, then later Saturn's moon, Titan, and finally here to Pluto. And you get all these little flavor bits, right? So now you've kind of gotten a sense for how cowardly the Spathi are, and now we can find out why the Ilrath left. They were supposed to be the toughest, no rigid flipper, no... the backbone of the Force. But they departed en masse, not after the last Ur-Quan dreadnought. They claimed to have received a direct order from their gods of evil and darkness, who had grown dissatisfied with their passivity, and wanted them to kill or at least torture somebody soon. I think they just got bored and went off to have some fun. Alright, so... when will the Ilrath come back? Well, that was 18 years ago. Something to the effect of, quote, real soon. And then, what's going on the moon? We were worried that we would try something sneaky, so they're the ones who rigged up the bulldozers to push around the dirt. To the audio portion of Winky's Happy Night, my favorite Melnorm fun ROM, hoping the Earthlings would think we're still there. And where are the other Spathi ships? Strategic redeployments, of course. In case of a sudden surprise attack by an unrelenting alien race, which we Spathi call the ultimate evil. They are literally afraid of the shadow in the dark. How many crew do you have aboard? Dozens, scores, and perhaps even hundreds. Super efficient mass destruction starship. Yeah. Hundreds, come on. I am undone, you are too clever. That each of my species' Eluder-class void ships typically holds 30 Spathi crewmen. We are not up to full complement due to the needs of my homeworld and resistance against ultimate evil. We are somewhat understaffed, as I'm the only Spathi on board. So the Spathi went from a host of ships in the solar system with the Ilrath to just them, to some of them, to just Fuifo, all the way back at Pluto. And this is where you really see I guess, it's adventure gaming, even though it's all done through dialogue. The galaxy teems with threatening monsters. Are you happy here, alone and vulnerable? Oh, how true, Captain, how true. I've been quite ill at ease. I'm enjoying this witty dialogue, and the presence of your huge, powerful, death-dealing starship, which being my friend, you would certainly feel compelled to use in order to save me from any hostile life forms who threaten me with death. That's true. Let's see if maybe we can convince him. Should we? We'll do it now. Happy days and jubilation. I discard all prejudice and hesitations and accept and celebrate your offer of protection and your undying commitment to my well-being. I must wax melancholy and make sure you understand that any other Spathy ships we made at large in the galaxy are not going to be quite so responsive to your gestures, since they bear more heavily the yoke of Ur-Quan enslavement and are apt to talk themselves out of allying with a totally unknown alien, which I, having been left here alone, cannot do. You will no doubt wish to reverse engineer my Star Runner. I'm sure this will be an interesting and educational experience for your technicians, but if you were to duplicate my looter vessel, you would be unable to use it in combat. You lack the expertise of native captains. But without further ado, welcome you to the reward. And see, we get a Spathy ship. And that's really one of the fun things in StarCon 2 is finding different species or different ships and kind of building out your roster. I will quickly show off the star map, and then I think I'm gonna... Now we can see, because he gave us the coordinates to Spathy homeworld, we have one galactic map up now. I'm gonna do a quick flight over to Alpha Centauri, and then I'm gonna switch over to Super Melee and show that off real fast. And we are a very slow precursor ship. There's lots of upgrades you can pay for and get over time. Now we also have 8 fuel, so we might just get stranded out in space. You consume a lot more fuel when you're traveling through hyperspace than you do just drifting along individual planets. Oh, something's coming up on us if you look at our radar there. Uh-oh. You? Who got us? So we have been ambushed by a weird probe-looking thing. So let's converse. Oh, okay. They come in peace. We are from Earth. No. We reach out our appendage and friendship. Mission description follows. Traverse space recording data. Seek materials for replication. Replicate to expand scope of mission. Contact life forms in a peaceful manner. After 10 replications, return to point origin. End of mission. Priority override. New behavior detected. It says destroy opponent into target compounds. So this is the Solandro? Let's take our Captain Fuifo and his one... Oh! No, Fuifo! We said we'd protect him. Oh, okay. We're gonna lose our Earthling vessel, too. Yep, there goes our Earthling vessel, and that leaves us with just our precursor ship. So you learn through play that the Solandro are actually like these probes that were supposed to go through the galaxy helping, and then accidentally their programming over-prioritized duplicating themselves, so they're just obsessed with... there we go. My precursor ship. And I get 550... but it's certainly not nearly worth losing 2 ships over. Alright. And I'm about to get ambushed by another ship. It's probably another Solandro. And that will be the end of this particular jaunt through space. Yep. There's no point in attacking them or conversing with them once you realize that the conversation does no good. Combat music is great. And again, because this is the Ur-Quan Masters version, I think this is the 3DO music. And that's the end of our attempt to save the galaxy. And it just goes here. I'm going to quickly switch over to Super Melee mode. What I really wanted to show off before I sign off for tonight was the description of all the other races. It's just really cool. Where is it? Star map, manual. Okay, launch super melee. This might be it. Here we go. This would be, of course. Okay. So let's see. We have our settings. Human versus computer. Let's do 2 good computers. And okay, here we go. And load. Let's do balance 1 versus balance 2. And then we'll throw a few extra ships in here. Let's give them, who are we missing? We have an Arielu, Chinjesu. We do have a Chimur, Druge. We have an Earthling Cruiser. We've got a Melnorm Trader. Are we missing any? We might actually have all the ships represented here. Oh, we don't have a Salandro probe, do we? There we go. We do have a Supox. We do have a Thurdash. We have an Utwig. We have a Vux. Do we have a Vux? We also don't have a Vux. And we do have a Yeehot. And a Zotfot pick. Okay. So I think that we got all ships spoken for here. So we'll just make this a little more balanced. And we'll throw an Ilrath. Oh no, we don't have an Ilrath. Let's get an Ilrath in there. And oh, we have a Korra. These are the other Ur-Quans, by the way. They're the Death Cult Ur-Quans. So the Ur-Quan Serza are the ones that wanted to do the same subjugate or battle thrall all other species. The Korra just want to kill all other species. Let's just get another Pakunk in there for fun. That's close to balanced. Okay. Oops, I removed a ship. What did I remove? That's right. Too late to worry about it. Okay, and then settings are good. We'll just let the duke it out a little bit. So the Druge are... They're already almost gone. They are slavers who... Their main ability is like a forward-firing cannon. The second ability is to sacrifice crew to restore the battery. Oh, something you noticed there, when the Salandro disintegrates the flying asteroids, it can regenerate. Okay, Airlu versus Ors. The Ors are a new species in StarCon 2. Their primary ability is a rotatable gun, and their secondary is little marines that they launch from their ship. Those are those drifting guys. And if they get aboard, they'll just start zapping their crew. And while this is playing, I'm actually going to see if I can pull up the list of all... Star Control ships. There's a Starship databank entries, that's what I'm looking for. The Zotfot pick are cute. It's 3 races from a planet that all banded together to defeat a 4th race on their planet who naturally predated, it fed on all 3 of them. So it was like a mushroom, a plant, and a rock type species that all kind of grouped together to fight back. Let's see if I can find the. There's some cool facts and a lot of stuff about Star Control Online. Like the inspiration for almost all of the ships comes from some sci-fi or another. The Ilrath ship looks like a Romulan bird of prey. The Earthling cruiser looks like a Federation ship. The Minermherm very much kind of resembles an X-wing or a Y-wing. The Chimera Avatar has a little bit of a Gradius ship thing going to it. A lot of the captains' names for various ships are referenced as well. There can be references to things like Battlestar Galactica. But most of the inspiration is campy B-movie sci-fi. And the tone of the game it's very, very lighthearted. For the most part. Ur-Quan accepted. The Supox, right now, might be one of my favorite ships. It has that rapid-fire main weapon, but then its secondary ability is actually... It can strafe, so if you hold your secondary button, you can move left and right or drift backwards. So it's a very, very maneuverable ship if you get the hang of... the Thradash there, easy come, easy go. Their second ability is to leave that fire trail. Oh. Here's our Ur-Quan versus Ur-Quan. The Ur-Quan have their ship, and then the Kora have these. They just leave those spinning discs. They fire similar to the Chinjesu, that you hold it and then when you let go it stops, but instead of exploding it just leaves the disc there. And then their second ability is that ring of fire. I'm gonna keep looking for the ship databanks. That's the last thing I want to show off tonight if I can find it. Fleet management screen? Alright, I'm gonna pull up the scenario editor. Okay. I'm relatively certain that I can find the Starship Databank entries if I go back and look at the first game, so I'm going to go ahead and close Super Melee now, reopen StarCon 1, and see if I can find that real quick before I end tonight. I kind of want to show them off. They're fun little... dialogues. Alright, so back to StarCon 1. Search. Here we go. And just because the inspiration for playing these tonight was very silly. We just got copies of both for the studio here. And for those of you who don't know, the east coast of the U.S. got hit with a gnarly storm last week. And we were not spared it. We got hit as bad as anybody else. But it was the same day that we were waiting for, and we finally got a shipment of StarCon 1 and 2 in box. The box was a complete wreck. I mean, the cardboard was soaked. It looked like it was going to be a loss. And I open it up, and there's another paper inside, and then there's another box, and we open that up, and inside that box is a lacquered Pokemon card, a premium kit box. So you open that box up, and then inside that is another wrapper, and then these 2 games. eBay sellers that go the extra mile just know you are loved, because the boxes got here just fine, and they had no right to be fine. They were out in just awful conditions for hours. Pray for you. Now, let's see if I can find... Here we go. This is what I wanted. So, I'm going to try to remember the controls here. Here we go. Starship Databank. So you hit space on this. We can learn about each of the ships and their details. So the Ur-Quan Dreadnought launches autonomous fighters and has a large fusion blast. And I remember loving how detailed this artwork was when I was younger, and wishing we had something similar to this for StarCon 2. You get this nice blown up version of each ship. You learn about its primary and secondary abilities, and you kind of get these breakdowns of their rough ability. Very fast, cowardly crew, rear firing weapon. Decoy projections. The Androsynth. Pokey. Blows mean bubbles. Changes to a flaming comet. Chaos tracking. And if you're wondering, the statistics there, when they have that kind of square with a dot inside, it's referring to their secondary form. So the Buck's Intruder. Not a very fast ship, but Ur-Wrath Avenger. So this is our little cloaking dragon ship. Poor tactical positioning. And the Umga drone. Stubby, slow, antimatter. So it is an antimatter cone. And its secondary ability is it can zip backwards. Intake. And you learn fun things about each of the races as you play StarCon 2. Like, the Umga are like bioengineers. The Chinjesu and the Minermherm actually unite to form a new race called the Chimera. Breeds pesky doggies. So the Chinjesu are the leading faction in the original Alliance of Free Stars. The Hot Terminator. Very good ship. Bernirmherm X-Form. This is the one that can switch from slow and lasers to fast and missiles. The Eri Lualile Skiff. The inertialess drive, and obviously headlights. All right, the last three ships, we have the Cyrene Penetrator. So again, they start with a low crew complement, but they can steal. The Earthlings, slow, heavy, heat-seeking nukes. Surplus. It's a surplus nuke. And then finally, the Shofixti Scout. And so those are the 14 starting races from the first. Okay. How do I back out? There we go. No fun, exit to DOS. That's as good an ending screen as I can think of. So Star Control 1 and 2, if you're interested in playing, both are available through GOG. Very easy to get a hold of. I also want to quickly, if I can pull the screen up for it, want to hype up what Paul and Fred are up to. Freestar's Children of Infinity, the Star Control successor. Let's see if I can pull up the store page for it. Okay, so if you are interested in following along, it was slated for sometime this year. Pistol Shrimp is the name of the... So I'm gonna turn the sound back on and switch our window over to... Oops. This is drastically out of frame. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. It's good for doing this on the fly. That'll do. All right. Play. Hooray, new gut flora. That is intriguing. That was the part that got me most excited when I was watching the trailer for this, that you could have like a multiplayer Freestars, Children of Infinity. So after a long time away, this is what they've been up to, and coming to Kickstarter April 16, 2024. They've been working on it for a couple years. They've been the Pistol Shrimp guys have actually been dev streaming here on Twitch, which is very cool. So definitely follow them if you're not. A few screenshots from the game. This isn't a time for somersaults. So yeah, no, it looks very cool. It's neat that they're kind of back on it, and you can find it here on Steam or follow along with Pistol Shrimp Games if you're curious. I also highly recommend, if you're going to play the Ur-Quan Masters, set some time aside for it. Star Control 2 is a very long game, but it's one that'll suck you in. I kind of just glossed over the surface of it for fun tonight, just to kind of show it off. But it's one that you'll get hooked on. You'll spend weeks playing it if you really get into that combination of exploration, puzzle solving, combat. So it's highly recommended. But that's all I'm going to show off tonight. So thank you for swinging in and stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. Just a reminder, if you want to follow our antics, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Winterion Game Studios. You can find me on Blue Sky at winterion.com. We are currently working on plans to get out to a couple conventions this year. We have some stuff we're working on that we're not ready to announce yet, but just keep an eye on here. When we are, we will. And have a great, we call this a swing into spring. I finally started sneezing, so I think spring has sprung. Again, thanks everybody for swinging by, and we'll catch you next time.